This is Mauricio, aka Mies, back at it again with another video, week 6 video this time. Still filling in from our boy Shubay. Shouts out to my boy Shubay. He's being active on the group, so glad to see you back, bro. But yeah, man, let's get right to it. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. I do not have a guest this week. Everyone, life, everyone's busy, everyone's taking care of business, so it's just gonna be me today. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I know all our videos have been like an hour, 45 minutes, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. But here we go. Let's get to it. Let's recap last week's matchup. So let me share my screen real quick. Like that, we get started. Let's see. All right, so it should pop up here in a second. There we go. All right, cool, fellas. So this is week 5. Let's do a quick recap of week 5 last weekend. I'm just gonna go straight down the list right here, straight in order. We'll start off big with me against Flash Them Titties, aka Adriel. So I'll pop her open. Man, what a game by my team. Let me just start off by saying that my team went off. I did the calculations. The first three players, Burrow, Chase, and DJ Moore, just those three players would have been enough to beat Adriel. When you look at this, it looks like, oh, he only won by 7, but no, this is actually a 220, not 120. So my team went off, probably the highest scoring um, game in a while. I can't remember. It's been a while since someone scored over 200. So that's good to see by my team. Finally, they showed up. It was my first win, so I'm only 1-4. Adriel, on the other hand, he put up a respectable 113, but it's just luck at this point. There's nothing you could do when two players score 50. But I mean, he still put up a good fight. 113 is solid. Any other week, that's a solid outing. But as we can see, I mean, Chase. Well, these my two receivers basically 6 touchdowns between them two, so 3 each, which is crazy. 52 and 49. Obviously, Burrow to Chase was the stack. Burrow got 24. ETN showed out too. Finally, 2 touchdown game, 136 rush yards, 170 scrimmage yards around there. So pretty solid by ETN out there in London. Was it in London? Yeah, London. Pollard bad game. Laporte is looking good. Solid tight end. He's injured this week. Shout out to Shabay for let it be known, but kind of worried about that. But he's been solid so far. I think he's a tight end one actually, high scoring tight end out of these first 5 weeks. So solid pickup for me right there. On the other hand, Chino, like I said, Chino's team did pretty solid. Sanders is only down game, and Ferguson. What's funny on Chino's side, he started Ferguson over Kittle. He wouldn't have won, but just having those points is important. So Kittle should have been started there, but he went with Ferguson and cost them a solid 20 points right there. Um, but yeah, none. The Allen's Diggs stack has been crazy this year. He has a solid team, but it was just luck at this point. On the bench, I had a lot of bye weeks, so I had 4 bye weeks right here. So I didn't really do anything out the ordinary. I just started my players and that I had, and shoot, they went off. So it paid off. On the other hand, Chino, same thing. He had a couple buys, injury over here to Higgins, but um, Kittle was the only main player he left on the bench that could have helped his team out. But yeah, I'm excited. 1-4 still sounds terrible, but my team, I feel like it's. I mean, I have a good team. I feel like so. We'll see what we can do this upcoming week. But man, let's keep pushing, guys. Trying to keep this video short. We'll go back to week five's matchups. So the next one we're gonna talk about is Kyle Shanahan against just Neil Hair Civil War here. So let's take a look real quick. I remember last week when we did the video, it seemed like it was heavily favored for just Neil. Just like the matchup, Shabay was dealing with a couple injuries, and it just seemed like just Neil was going to win. But I'm glad I took the underdog last week, if y'all recall. So I took Shabay, and he ended up putting a solid 132. So let's take a look at the matchup real quick. The thing that stood out to me, Kirk Cousins, man, he's been like I want to say balling, but 19 points, around 19 points a week, some 20-point games. He's been solid addition there. He's been providing a good backup option for Shubay since Fields wasn't playing well. But back-to-back good weeks by field, so I think Shabay's going to start on this week, but 32 last week. But like I said, a solid respectable 19 by Cousins isn't too bad. Kept them afloat. His receivers, Addison and Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds, very impressive move there by Shabay to add. He had a belief that he was going to go off, and he plugged him in. Mon Ra obviously wasn't playing, so but we've seen enough from Reynolds to know that he could be, a solid option. And then Shabay said, "Screw it, let me plug him in," and it paid off. 17 points is very good. Same thing with Addison, 18 points. Something to look at. James Conner did get injured. He's on IR as we can see, so he's going to be out 4 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see what Shabay does in order to, try to make up for his production. Kelsey's been solid too, 22 points. This was the big one. He needed I think it was going into this Monday night game. I think he needed 3 points around there. And, Jacoby Myers delivered 20 points. Adams did get injured there for a little bit, but even before that, Jacoby Myers was playing good. But it was a good, solid 130 by Shabay, our commish. On the other hand, just a down week, I would say, for Jasneal. Like I said last week, I don't like his receivers, and that's why I picked Shabay. And, to my point, he only had 14. Waddle had only 14. McLaurin only 8 on that Thursday night football game. McCaffrey was on, he's, the best fantasy player out right now, and he had a very down game. So against Dallas, mainly because, like I said, it was just a blowout over there. Niners took care of business, so that's why he obviously didn't have the opportunity. But other than that, what's it called? Just Sunil's team didn't really produce other than his running backs, and then Achane, he's going to be on IR, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does there. But 113 is still not bad, but shout out to Shabay for getting that dub, for coming through. Let's take a look. Let's keep it moving, fellas. So, all right. So yeah, let's see. Next one is Oren Kush against Watch Me Weep. I don't know what Arnold is doing, guys. I don't know if he gave up, which it kind of sucks. This is the gold league. Come on, man. That's bronze league activities. But yeah, he started 2 players that didn't play. So 0-0, and star players, Jones and Saquon. So I don't know what Arnold is doing. I don't know if he gave up or I don't know what it is, but it's not like his team's well, yeah, it's not like his team sucks, I would say, but it's just him giving up. He's not making moves. There's players to be, picked up on the waiver. There's trades to be made, and he's not making them. So I feel like he has given up already. Even though it's early, he's only 1-4. So blessing for Mike, because on his side, his team did pretty. Even though 117 is solid, but mainly it's just that defense and Montgomery. Oh, and Waller finally went off 16 points. But other than that, his team was very pedestrian. So I feel like if Arnold actually, paid attention, let's see his bench. Maybe he could have pulled out a win, to be honest. Let's look at his bench. Kyle Pitts, Curtis Samuel, Hollywood Brown 16. So there's moves to be made, and I'm pretty sure Arnold, he could have got a dub if he made those moves that were necessary. But yeah, 2 players with 0 points is not gonna cut it. Other than that, the rest of his team, Baltimore defense 6, Tucker 4. I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Arnold needs to wake up. He can still come back from this. So, and it's not just getting his players healthy, but just making moves, staying active for sure on the waiver wire. He can make something happen. 4-1 for Mike, so he's in second place. I don't know. I feel like that's. I mean, shouts out to him for taking care of business, but I don't know. It's like a very like the Vikings last year. They were like what I can't remember. They won like 12 games and then they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. So it's something like that. I feel like he's winning these close games, but it's kind of doesn't tell the full story about his team, in my opinion. But shoot, hey, so he's gonna keep trying. He's gonna keep proving us wrong. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let's keep it moving. All right, so where am I at? League. All right, so then this is a really good matchup too. Uh, Zimmer against Dilraj here. Um, Shout out to Diraj. Not gonna lie, so good it hurts. His team balled out. Solid. I was looking at it earlier. He put in Pickens at his flex, which is not a. I mean he's a good player, but kind of a risk I would say, or not a gamble. And he paid off 26 points. I'm pretty sure he was debating between Pickens and Zach Moss, but either way, if he would have gone with Zach Moss, that's a solid 33. So solid outing by his team. Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal. Another 28 right there. Swift and Jacobs, solid 19 and 16. Yeah, his team did good, other than his special teams and defense, but it didn't really matter. 150 is solid. That's a solid outing, like A plus, points production. So that's all with Eckler being out. So once he gets Eckler back, which I think this week he should be back, it will be interesting to see what direction his team takes. But he's at 3-2 right now, third place, so very good position for Dilraj. On the other hand, Paul, I believe he's lost, if I'm not mistaken, two in a row. If I think he lost two in a row, so um, I'm not sure because he has a good team. So I feel like I guess some bad luck, but Olave has been kind of struggling. He did get that touchdown, but two catches, 12 yards, and one of those catches was a touchdown. So, those 9 points is kind of like, sus right there. But Henry, same thing with Henry. He did have a 20-point game, but other than that, I think he hasn't been the workhorse that he usually has been. So, like I said, I don't know. He has a good team, but just in his team is just in a rut. But there's players, some of these players that you wouldn't think to bench, like Olave. You're not gonna bench Olave. Same thing with Henry. Usually you're not gonna bench Henry, but yeah, tough outing for him. But even though it was a tough outing, I feel like this is his floor, 115, that's a pretty solid floor. 115 sometimes gets you a win in certain weeks. So, but yeah, no, shouts out to Dilraj, another win, third straight, I believe, for Dilraj, three straight wins, which is crazy, which is a tough thing to do, especially when facing tough opponents. Let me look at the benches real quick. So for Simmer, he has Richardson on IR, one of his quarterback options, but good thing he still has, Tua, which obviously he's been balling. Uh, and on the other hand, Eckler has been, injured. So maybe if he gets Eckler back and he starts going off, Dilrosh to continue his win streak. This is interesting too. He's not using two of his bench spots. So good it hurts. I'm not sure why. Maybe I don't know. I feel like you could add a player and just stash them, but hey, to each their own. Two bench spots open. We do have seven bench spots open, and then two IR spots. Just FYI to everyone out there. Okay, let's keep it moving. I keep hitting the wrong button. Yeah, not overview. It's supposed to be league. All right, and then this is the last matchup for last week. Very good matchup in my opinion. It seemed like Jeff was, gonna win for sure, but then it got close towards the end. We got Jeff versus Esteban, Justin Game of Thrones. Drank in my cup. Cup is back. So speaking of Cup, first game back and he got him a 19, 19 points, eight catches, 118. So that's very solid now for Esteban to have his, dual stack at, receiver AJ Brown, Cooper Cup, basically two wide receiver ones right there. So it wasn't enough for the win though that week, and he could have won had he made certain moves. So if we look down, Hopkins 22 points. Dalton Schultz, it's funny, he just had traded for Ingram for me, so he sent me Chris Godwin for Evan Ingram, the tight end. And obviously, when you trade a player, obviously you're gonna start him. And he had decent matchup with Buffalo. Yeah, they're a tough defense, but anyone would have thought it could have been higher scoring, a lot of passing plays. And he did have his opportunities. I did watch that game. But yeah, he only gave him 6 points to Evan that week. So, and then when you look at, who he had on the bench, Dalton Schultz, which I believe last week he had a decent outing as well. So seeing those 19 points on the bench kind of hurts for him. And then obviously Hopkins, 22 on the bench instead of, you could have been Nico. Because obviously you're not going to start Hopkins over these two, but you maybe could have started him over Nico Collins because Atlanta got a good defense. AJ Terrell is a solid cornerback. So if he would have made those moves, he could have definitely won. He only lost by 13. What is that? 13? Yeah. So if he starts either of those two, he could have for sure got a dub. And those are the what's it called, the GM changes that alter basically the league, because he could have won for sure there, and that's another dub. He would have been 4-1 instead of 3-2. So it is what it is though. But then shouts out to Jeff. Mm. Huge shout out to Jeff because so how Swag, he didn't make the right moves. On the other hand, Jeff did make the right moves. So Logan Thomas, the tight end, he actually started him, I think, an hour or maybe even 30 minutes before game time. He picked him up off the waiver and he plugged him in. I'm not sure. I'm actually curious. Did Jeff see a video or like a TikTok or someone saying, "Oh, you need to start Logan Thomas," or maybe he just did his own research. He said, he saw Chicago defense is not that good, so maybe he thought, shoot, let me start Thomas, and it paid off. 20 points to start off the week. This was on Thursday Night Football, so 20 points to start off the week was very solid. And then even more interesting, he started him over Hunter Henry. That was his tight end, his starting tight end, Hunter Henry. And they got blown out by the Saints. And he put up 0 points. So that's a 20-point swing by Jeff just by making that move. So shouts out to him, man, because that's what you see from good GMs. And he is a good GM. That's why he is 5-0. So he was able to get the win, even though he had Mike Evans, Justin Herbert on buys. Elijah Moore, but he probably wasn't starting. But Herbert and Evans on buys, and he was still able to pull off the win. His team didn't go off by, he only put 111, which is average, I would say, but just enough to give him the win over Esteban, who only put up 98. So yeah, shouts out to him. As we get into these next week's matches, we'll see that Jefferson, he's injured, so it did come at a cost. He's on IR, so for sure 4 weeks he's out. So we'll see what other moves he'll make because, like I said, he's a good GM. So I'm interested to see what kind of moves he'll make to replace Justin Jefferson. Overview or league? God damn it, I keep forgetting. Let's go with league. Yeah, league. All right. So yeah, man, that's last week's standings, or I mean matchups. Very good week, especially since I won. Very good week, 220. I'll just say it again, but. Let's take a look at the standings. Jeff stays up top. Orange Kush moves up to second place now that he's 4-1. He's only put up 585 though, so which is, like I said, it's crazy, but fantasy football is crazy. Anything can happen any week. So shouts out to Mike just for keeping that, positioning in the standings. He's 1-2. Jeff obviously on a 5-game win streak. As we mentioned earlier, so good it hurts. Doraj on a 3-game win streak. Watch me weep. It's 4 straight losses after winning in week 1. So he's in 10th place. Adriel, 9th place. So me, Arnold, and Adriel, same record, but obviously I put up a good amount of more points than them too. But as we can see, also I've had a lot of points scored against me. Same thing with Chino. Simmer, who I played this week's 2-3, just Neil 2-3, and then 3-2 up until So yeah, solid, very tight. Anything can happen still. Let's take a look at next week's matchups. It should be a big week. Let's take a look, fellas. All right, so here we are. This is week 6 matchups, and a lot of good matchups out there. A lot of opportunities for GMs to move up in the standings and to get a dub. So let's start here at the bottom. We're gonna go with Jeff, Justin Game of Throws, and Flash and Titties, another Texas GM battle. All right. So I already did my predictions, and I guess you could pick them here too. I barely found this out. You could do the pick to win. So let's do a quick glimpse of these matchups. So, as we mentioned earlier, Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson is not going to play. He's out 4 weeks. So, but he still got two solid receivers here. Devontae Adams, obviously, he's a wide receiver one, and then Mike Evans, borderline wide receiver one. You know, well, he's the number one on his team, but just some fantasy purposes. But yeah, that's a solid 1-2. Justin Herbert, who's been amazing at QB. Brees Hall had a good game last week. He's starting to surge. The coach said they're not gonna no more snap counts on him, so he's the full go, and he showed out last week because of that. So he does have a Philly again. He's going up against a Philly defense, who are style very good defense. But he still should go off, I think. The same thing with Mixon. He's got a weak Seattle defense, so and you know how last week Burrow and Chase went off. So I think maybe they're gonna just start to get Mixon involved a little more this week. Logan Thomas, who was big last week, we'll see if he can keep that up. Kyron Williams is a solid waiver wire pickup. He's been balling. And then he's rounding out with San Francisco against Cleveland. On the bench, nothing interesting to me. I feel like Jeff has the best possible players starting. On the other hand, we got Chino. His team, as we know, Alan Digstack is amazing. What worries me about Chino's team is his running back. So Pacheco, I see, today's Thursday, so I feel like he'll have a good game later tonight. Miles Sanders, man, I don't know how I feel about him. He's been kind of iffy, as we can see also by his projections, but he's starting to go spiral down a little bit, his value. I feel like Chino should go ahead and look for replacement or make a trade or something, especially since he had Nick Chubb and then he broke his leg or something with his knee. So yeah, I feel like he still hasn't found that replacement that he might need at running back. But other than that, he has good receivers, Diggs and Kirk. Drake London, I don't like. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but just his quarterback situation, Desmond Ritter is not good, and just the offense in general, they tend to run the ball a lot. Either run the ball, screens, little short passes, so that kind of hinders Drake London's ability to produce. So I would be interested to see if Chino does start Higgins over London. I would, but especially against Seattle. But that's if he plays too. He is questionable, but to each their own. So it's looking like Jeff should win this game. And for that reason, I'm gonna pick Chino because that's how it was last week, man. Is when one player is like everything's looking right for them to win, and the complete thing opposite happens. That happened to Shabbay's matchup against Just Neil. Like everything was pointing towards Just Neil winning, but Shabay ended up winning. So for those reasons, I'm probably gonna pick Chino too. Let me see what happens if I click here. Pick to win. Oh, well, there you go. I picked them to win. So yeah, just I don't know. I'm tossing it up. Obviously Jeff is a good GM, so he should be winning. But I don't know. We'll see if I could go 5-0. That's what I'm trying to do. So we'll go with Chino. The averages they'll balance out. So, but yeah, I'm gonna pick Chino, even though obviously Jeff is a good GM. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next matchup. All right. Watch Me Weep and Alvin Kamara, Just Neil. Yeah, let me I'm just gonna say this is gonna be the toilet bowl matchup of the week. Mainly because of Arnold. I don't know if he's gonna start paying attention, but I hope he does, because his team is not that bad, but Puka Nacua is top 5 receivers right now, so and then Calvin Ridley's been balling as well. So for this matchup's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Yeah, this is like I said, toilet bowl matchup of the week. Projections say, just Neil is a heavy favorite, 130, and I guess it makes sense. I still don't like his. Zay Flowers is all right. I feel like he's more of a flex, not a wide receiver too there, but I feel like his receivers are kind of that's his, the weakest part about his team. But obviously he has Mahomes, QB1, and then his running backs are good. McCaffrey, obviously best player in fantasy right now, and then Kamara's been solid since returning from the suspension. Decent tight end Hawkinson, or I'm sorry, a great tight end in Hawkinson, and then Thielen, who's been balling with Bryce Young. So his team is solid. Just to me, his receivers are kind of weak, but other than that, obviously his team's solid just by having McCaffrey in there. So I'm gonna pick just Neil to win. Um, I'm hoping Arnold can make it competitive, but yeah, he's gonna have to actually, look at his lineup, make moves, make trades in order to start getting some wins. Aaron Jones is on a bye this week. Kyle Pitts is benched. Hollywood Brown, he's been good, so I don't know why he doesn't start him. I get it, Garrett Wilson, but yeah, I think I would start him over Garrett to be honest, especially since the Jets are playing, tough defense in Philly. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, no, this is a trash matchup. But yeah, so I'll pick just Neil. Let me click that. All right, cool. There you go. All right, let's go to the next one. So we got Orange Kush against Drinking My Cup. mm, very interesting, very solid matchup. So yeah, AJ Brown, Cooper Cup. He's gonna start Nico at his flex. Ooh, Hopkins. These projections are high. Is it just me? 15 points. Very high projections for all these players, but this should be a solid matchup. I feel like we stated earlier, I feel like Michael has been Orange Chris has been running into a lot of luck. So I think his luck runs out this week. Esteban has a good team. He's coming off, a bad week last week. He only put up 98, but it was mainly because Lamar Jackson. And nothing. It wasn't. I don't know if y'all watched the game, but it wasn't Lamar Jackson. It was mainly his receivers. There, he had a lot of drop balls from Mark Andrews. Who else was it? Rashad Bateman, I believe. A lot of drop passes. But he balled out. So I feel like his receivers are gonna make it. They're gonna emphasize. Cashing in on those opportunities that Lamar Jackson gives them. So I'm seeing Lamar Jackson having a good game, and his receivers, Cooper Cup, AJ Brown, been solid. Mostert, so he's back to being RB1. What's his name? A-Chain. He's out for 4 weeks, so that's good. That was good news for Esteban's team. Kenneth Walker, he's back from a bye. He's hoping Evan Engram goes off. Obviously that trade, so hopefully it pays. It didn't pay off last week, so hopefully it pays off this week. Nico Collins over Hopkins in the flex. That's a tough one. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at either, but either or, I'm gonna pick Esteban to win. I feel like he's gonna have a bounce back week, and then I feel like Orange Kush's team is gonna have, his luck is gonna run out a little bit. He won't be as lucky like he was last week. But not to say, I mean, he has a good team. I just don't like Brian Robinson, but Bijan Robinson, Devontae Smith has been, going in a downward spiral as well. He hasn't been producing. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb, but Montgomery's been balling, but I still think it won't be enough to beat a good drinking my cup team. So I'm gonna rock with Esteban in that week 6 matchup. All right, let's keep it moving. We got Shubay against So Good It Hurts. Another good matchup here. All right. Oh, as we can see, Eckler's back in, so he does play a good defense in Dallas, but it should be a good game nonetheless. And first game back, he should be well rested, hopefully. So let's see what else we got. On the other hand, we got Jordan Addison. First game as a wide receiver one since Jefferson is out. They get a very porous defense in Chicago, so he should have a game. And the way Kirk Cousins throws it, they throw a lot as a team. They don't really run the rock a lot, so I feel like Addison should have a good game. He gets Amon-Ra, same Brown back. Oh, this is gonna be a good matchup. Not gonna lie to y'all. Should be a good matchup. Reynolds on the bench. Debo on the bench. Yeah, this is gonna be a good matchup, man. So he's starting Fields over Kirk this week, which makes sense. Obviously, he won't have his number one receivers, so I feel like this game is gonna come down to if Jonathan Taylor can, you know, have a good game. So last week it was his first week back, and he I don't think he scored more. He's Yeah, if I do not recall, he got out touched by Zach Moss, and Zach Moss is the one that went off. So if Taylor could get back to his old self and have a big game, maybe 15, 20, I could see Shubay winning. But other than that, I think Bill Rogers' team is really good, man. Hurts has been amazing. He gets Eckler back. Jacobs, same thing. They're going up against a decent defense in New England. Swift at his flex. And then this is going to be big for me too. I think Buffalo has a big game against the Giants. The Giants are not good. I believe what's it called? Daniel Jones might not play either, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I feel like Buffalo's gonna have a big game, even if he does play, and it's a primetime game. So I feel like they got something to prove as a defense after losing last week to Jacksonville. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick Bill Raj. I see him winning four straight, which is, like I said, hard to do. So let me lock that in. We got Bill Raj winning. Um, yeah, it should be a close matchup though, nonetheless. Yeah, it should be good. All right, let me go to the next matchup, man. All right, so this is the last one. Um, and it's not just because it's me playing it, but honestly, I really think this is gonna be the matchup of the week. Um, just because, yeah, like I'm 1-4, and then Simmer has been, kind of he's on a two-game losing streak, so we're kind of going opposite directions. So it's a big game in terms of if I could get this win, I could put myself in the discussion of making the playoffs. Coming off a big game, a big week last week, putting up 220. So I think, yeah, I feel like it's the matchup of the week in my book. Let's see. Yeah, so I think I got good matchups. So I got Joe Burrow and Chase against Seattle, which I feel like their defense is not that good. DJ Moore against Minnesota. Same thing, not a good defense. ETN against the Colts. Colts are they're good defensively. Pollard against the Chargers. Should be a shootout. I feel like Chargers have a not so good defense. That's if they play though. He did pop up on in the injury report. Same thing with Laporta. So I for sure need them to play. But if they do, I like my chances winning this week. Obviously, on this side, Simmer he has a really good team. Yeah, really good team. And it all depends on these three players right here, Tua, Hill, and Allen. If this stack does good, which they've been doing really good almost every game except one, I feel like, it makes it very hard to beat them. Same thing with Keenan Allen. He does get a pretty good defense in Dallas, even though they lost Trayvon Diggs. That's still a good defense. Well, not against the Niners. Niners ran them last week, but they're still a good defense in my book. So hopefully they can shut down Keenan Allen, but um, he's been a monster lately. It's gonna be a good, like I said, it's a good matchup. And the reason these projections it says 115 for Simmer, he doesn't have a defense in there, so I'm not sure who's he gonna pick up. I've tried to play defense myself, so I think I picked up one defense just so he basically one less option for him to pick up. But obviously, I'm pretty sure he's gonna pick up some defense, and I'm just hoping they do bad and I'm able to come up with a win this week. But let me see the bench players. He's benching Olave. Interesting. Olave. He's starting Ayuk over Olave, which I don't blame him. Ayuk's been balling, but it's just crazy because Olave was a top pick. I think he was like I want to say third round, either second or third round. But he was a top pick, and he hasn't panned out lately. So yeah, like I don't blame him for benching him. If your team hasn't balled out, you gotta bench him. Your player, my bad. Um, so yeah, you gotta bench him there. Let's see who else. I did see he picked up a couple players, the running backs for um, Chicago and Arizona. Khalil Herbert's injured, and then I believe obviously James Conner's injured, so he did pick them two up. But I'm not sure I don't think he'll start them. Which I mean, yeah, I wouldn't start them either. Not yet. They got to prove themselves, but um, I'm hoping no big game from Henry, and if Henry doesn't have his, vintage 20, 25 point game, I think I have a solid chance of winning. He has good receivers, but my receivers match his production as well, or should match him. Nervous about quarterback Joe Burrow. He finally had his first good game last week, so I don't know. Like I said, it's a close one. Um, but obviously, I'm gonna pick myself to win, to move me to 2-4, hopefully. So let me lock it in. But yeah, all right. So I think that's gonna do it. So I got y'all, recap last week. We checked out the standings, and then we got my picks for this upcoming week. Yeah, I think that'll do it. I just want to say, keep doing y'all thing. Everyone keep. It's been an active league so far. Other than Arnold, everyone's been making moves, trades, being active on the waiver wire. So it's been fun. It's been a fun league so far. So we're only into week 6. We got 10, 11 more weeks to go. So about 11 more weeks, if you include the playoffs. But yeah, let's keep at it, fellas, and let's keep having fun for sure. So yeah, stay tuned. Enjoy Thursday night football. Crack open a beer if you need to. Yeah, that'll do it. Peace.